What's going on, guys? Today I'm here to recap yesterday's Oakland Raiders Connected Careers off-season live stream for Season 2. And in this video, I'm not going to give you the perspective of the broadcast commentator that I was pretty much stuck to during Season 2. I try to be better about that, and I like doing that more in the actual games. But for this video, I'll give you my perspective and my thoughts, and just, I don't really give you the MrHurriicane perspective in my commentaries anymore for these series. I give you the broadcast commentator. I'm very strict about that. But we're here to recap the season, and we're looking at season stats, and A.J. Ray finishes the year 86 catches, over 1,200 yards, big standout on offense, and of course Big Papa, his stats were much better than Carson Palmer. On defense, the big standouts were definitely Lamar Houston, and in the secondary, Pat Lee and Harvey Bernard were very pleasant surprises. And the guy everybody loves, James Hazard, had a sack of his own, but didn't get much playing time this year. Overall, A.J. Ray was 7th in catches and 7th in yards, and so you knew that he was probably going to be a Pro Bowler, and indeed he was. What about Offensive Rookie of the Year, though? We'll get to that in a second. Lamar Houston going to the Pro Bowl along with Sebastian Janikowski representing the silver and black. And now, Big Patrick Papagiannopoulos is your Offensive Rookie of the Year in the AFC. Wow. A.J. Ray, 2nd place to Big Papa. That was a surprise to me. And then we move on to the Super Bowl and find out that Brandon Weeden has brought a Super Bowl to Cleveland. 34-16, convincing over the San Francisco 49ers. We also see that Kurt Warner, he doesn't want to be an analyst anymore. He doesn't want to do his new TV show. He wants to be an NFL quarterback again. But he's not in our plans. A lot of people wished he was, but he was not on my radar. So we look at contracts and the expiring free agents I had, and I've been up and down about Darren McFadden this whole series, but we have agreed to a 3-year contract with Darren McFadden. Danny Amendola, there was no doubt we had to re-sign this guy after the year he had last year. So many amazing catches, a big spark on the offense. Chris Ivory, he's not going to stick around. He had to start quite a bit last year. We can definitely do better. Travis Gaethel, keeping him around for linebacker depth, cheap option in the middle behind Rolando McClain. Corey Hilliard surrendered too many sacks last year. Right tackle is a big hole on this roster right now. He will not return to Oakland. Keenan Clayton now. He's an outside linebacker, a depth guy, but we're not going to keep him around because James Hazard does not get enough playing time as it is. Lucas Nix, cheap guard option, a backup, a young guy, maybe develops into something, but for now, a $600,000 option basically for the bench. Cooper Carlisle, we can go younger, and we can go better, and we can go cheaper. We're going to end it there. Will Hill, he was pretty good in some games. He had his games, and we wanted to keep him around for a 2-year deal. He wanted 4 years. I wasn't going to give him 4 years. Sebastian Janikowski, after much debate, I slapped the franchise tag on him for about $4 million, so he's staying in Oakland. And all the contracts were accepted except for Will Hill would not agree to the 2-year deal. He wanted the 4-year deal, and so he's off to free agency. And so are we, looking for some options now to fill some holes on this roster. Offensive line, maybe a linebacker, just wanted to see what was available. But first things first, Carson Palmer has been cut from the Oakland Raiders. He is now a free agent, free to sign with any team in the NFL. In the free agency period, we see that Jeremy Maclin is the #1 available free agent. A lot of teams want Maclin now. Philly's going to have to spend a lot of money to keep him around, but we look around the NFL. With Cooper Carlisle now gone and a hole in the middle of that offensive line, we can definitely try to find a starting guard in free agency, except for there's not really many great options available. Plus, we have the draft coming up, and perhaps there would be a rookie that could fill in that hole a lot better than a free agent. But at right tackle, Zach Strief was available. He wanted about 5 years, a $25 million contract, and he would be a definite upgrade over Corey Hilliard and would fill that hole to start at right tackle. Looking around at defensive tackle now, Richard Seymour and Tommy Kelly are both dinosaurs in the middle. They're very old players. Desmond Bryant's on the bench, but not much depth behind those guys. At cornerback, not a big need, but Brandon Browner is available here. A big, tall, lanky corner. I love Brandon Browner. $20 million. We're going to throw our hat in the ring. Safety now, with the loss of Will Hill, we need some depth. So a young guy, doesn't have to be a flashy player, just someone that can step in. But when you're looking at that right there, you can basically say we can find somebody in the draft. Another need was a blocking tight end to help out in the running game and possibly be an extension on the offensive line in the passing game. And once again, possibly draft somebody. But one more offer was given out to Vladimir Ducasse, a young guard prospect that could possibly start, or he could be a solid depth option. And indeed, Zach Strief had agreed almost immediately. 5 years, $25 million. Zach Strief is now an Oakland Raider. And now, since we're talking about the draft quite a bit here, we see the picks that we have for the draft: a first, a second, 2/3, a fourth, no fifth, a sixth, and a seventh round pick. So the whole thing here was, who do you take with your first picks? What is the biggest need on the roster? And somewhere we wanted to add a quarterback. Big Papa is the reigning Offensive Rookie of the Year, but he is injury prone and we can't trust him. So Logan Cannon fixes that right there and adds some good throwing power, some good accuracy. He's a possibility at quarterback in the middle of the draft. Looking around the rest of the quarterback prospects, Jordan Mop out of Navy. How does Navy have a quarterback this slow? They run option, man. Looking at other positions, just seeing what's out there. DeRay Ray, scat back, 98 speed, all you need to know about him. Damian Barrier looking at offensive guard. Want a guy that can both pass block and run block. We're finding guys who are specialized in one area or another. And so we're just going to keep looking and eventually stumble upon Aaron Kane, a guy who is a balanced guard and would be an option maybe in the second round. Shaquan Johnson here as we're scouting for a late round safety perhaps, and we find perhaps could be a gem, a little bit of a steal in the late rounds. Benji Johnson at defensive tackle, trying to find a guy who can block, shed, and provide interior pressure. And he doesn't appear to be anything special, but Manny Smith out of San Diego State, he looks to be someone we could go for in one of the first 2 rounds. Preston Winkenwerder won Name of the Year for this draft class, as he could be another option on the defensive line. Dominique Carter at tight end, need a run blocker. Oh, we're going to forget about him now. That's not good. After being a little disappointed by the tight end class, we decided that Tom Crabtree was an effective option for a blocking tight end. Moving back to scouting, Deontay Tyson, an outside linebacker, looking to help stop the run, and wow, this guy could be something special. Oklahoma State's produced a great prospect. Another quarterback here, Tanner Hearns, look at good throwing strength, solid accuracy, deep, could be a big vertical passer. And now we see the headlines. Brandon Browner is a Raider, 4 years, $27 million. He's worth the price to add to this secondary. And now it's time for everybody's favorite part of the offseason, and mine included, the NFL Draft. Here we are. The first pick in the 2014 NFL Draft is Keon McKenzie to the St. Louis Rams, the #1 quarterback available. So we go to our pick now at pick 19, and nobody wants to trade up with Oakland. So we got to go and pick the top guy on our board, and that is Aaron Kane, a plug-and-play right guard, helps the interior of the offensive line. I would have preferred to trade down, but nobody wanted to, so we look now, and I wanted Manny Smith to help the defensive line, a late first-round prospect, and he does go late first round to the San Diego Chargers, one of our division rivals. So now, how about a linebacker? Adam Smiley, Deontay Tyson's available, a late second-round addition. We could probably get him, so we're going to start going through here. Almost our pick, and he goes 3 picks before us to the Tennessee Titans. So now we had to make a decision. A lot of good receivers available, but this was not a big need for us this year. So we looked through, it's basically a best player available scenario. Not a lot of great defensive tackle options, and so we're just going to go BPA all the way. DeRay Ray, a running back, the scat back, A.J. Ray's brother, has been drafted by the Oakland Raiders to back up Darren McFadden and provide some explosion on the offensive side of the football. This one's for Al Davis. Next, the quarterback everybody liked was taken by Philadelphia late second round, Tanner Hearns, and then their division rival, the Redskins, take a kicker in the second round. Good prospect, though, at least. So now we see Jordan Mappa's taken before us in the third round. We have back-to-back picks. And so what do you do here in the third round? Do you go quarterback here? Do you go defensive line? We could trade down for second rounders next year, but with the 82nd overall pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the Oakland Raiders select Logan Cannon, quarterback out of Iowa State, to compete with Big Patrick Papagiannopoulos. Things just got very interesting, and then on the next pick, we decide, how about we take his college teammate, a first-round prospect, Dyron Orr, 83rd overall, a steal if he can pan out. Defensive line finally addressed in the 4th round with Will Wozlewski, and then we wanted to take a guy late. And Shaquan Johnson was taken before we could pick him up in the 6th round by the Cleveland Browns, the defending Super Bowl champions. They got a steal right there in Shaquan Johnson. So we have to look elsewhere, and a 2nd round prospect out of Notre Dame has fallen all the way to the 6th round. We snatch up Darrell Lunsford at cornerback, and then Kevin Glaude is our final pick in the 7th round. Finally took a defensive tackle. Not a great draft for defensive line at all, but we finally addressed it late. So there is the entire draft. It goes Aaron Kane, DeRay Ray, Logan Cannon, Darren Orr, Will Wozlewski, Darrell Lunsford, and Kevin Glaude, wrapping up the draft class in 2014. So which of those rookies are you guys most excited to see? Few more moves to make here. We signed OCU Minyora because Everson Griffin had left in free agency. I'm not sure what happened there. I think he may have just wanted out and wasn't going to negotiate. Tyson Alualu, we waited him out and his price dropped in half because he did not get snatched in the original free agency period. So we still want to get a veteran quarterback to kind of be the mentor guy in the locker room and for these young quarterbacks. Kurt Warner's not the guy though, okay? He wants to play. He wants to be the Brett Favre. Dennis Pitta, he's been signed to compete at tight end, and Ryan Mundy is signed to be a depth option in the secondary. He'll battle in preseason for a spot. So, we're here in preseason now, guys. Coming up next, I'll post weeks 1 and 2 together in the preseason. We get our first chance to see guys like Aaron Kane, DeRay Ray, Logan Cannon, Darren Orr. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you guys for watching. Leave your feedback on the offseason in the comment section. Let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys in the preseason. We're going to get there very soon. I can't wait for Season 3.